Hello. Today I want to talk to you about a project I've been working on for the last 2 years part-time. Um, and the project really started with a question, what if you build a game engine with on top of a collaborative sandbox, um, where you have many people sort of interact with the sandbox in real time. What would that look like, and how would you do that? Um, so yeah, this is what I've been working on, and one of the main things I want to focus on is that collaborative element in this video. I've got tons to talk about, so I'm going to split it up into a few different videos. And this one I really want to talk about the kind of foundation, the core sort of principle, which is this collaboration, this real-time sandbox or real-time canvas. And that's how we started. Basically, we said let's just build a canvas that people can drag a bunch of things into, um, and a bunch of people can be looking at that whilst people are editing it, exactly like a Google Doc. Um, yeah, and I haven't seen something like this for games in a engine. Um, Games engines tend to be quite complicated. At least the graphical user interface element, the editor element, tends to be a bit daunting to learn how to use. And that's what I wanted to avoid that. I wanted to start as simple as possible. Partly because I just don't have the resources to do something that complicated, but also I have, there's a big barrier for me to learn these UIs, and so I think that maybe there'll be people like me that share that opinion. And it's not like I shy away from complexity. I'm a coder, and I worked on very big code bases. Um, it's not really the complexity. I think it's the ease of discovery. In a code base, I can do a text search. I can kind of follow the code. On a graphical user interface, a very big one, especially one where it starts out almost showing you all the features of the engine on one screen. I tend to kind of turn off, and it doesn't feel like a compelling activity to learn how to use that. So I wanted to start with something really simple, but also start with something that didn't require. And this is another problem I have with game engines, game editors more specifically. You have to have a Windows PC that's got like an NVIDIA graphics card. Otherwise, it's not very easy to use. It's not very performant. So I wanted something where I didn't have to have a gaming laptop to use it. Okay, that might limit the type of game that the game engine will be sort of catered towards, but actually I'm quite interested in kind of 2D games anyway. So at the moment, I'm really focusing on 2D rather than a 3D game engine. So yeah, and building it around a collaborative sandbox. I think that's the interesting piece. What does that look like? Well, it's very interesting in terms of the editor, because it means many people can build the levels together in real time. But also for the games themselves, like I'm very interested in building games that have a huge sandbox and many users can be playing in that same sandbox together. So they both require the same sort of fundamental technology behind them. So it's quite an interesting place to start from. I'm a big fan of the diagramming tools that have become popular recently, and the minimalism of their interface. I think that really appeals to me. So that's what I try to follow in terms of the UI, as minimal as possible, and have something be painful to use, rather than add complexity, and then try and think of a solution to ease that pain without adding too much complexity. And one of the things we started with is we built a canvas, and we used Firebase's Firestore to do that. So we've built the whole game engine around Firestore, and what that allows you to do is Firestore is basically a real-time database, a document-based database, and it makes it very easy for users to essentially view the same persistent world and listen to changes and have real-time updates of those changes. And it's designed for like many concurrent users, so it's designed really for like social apps and things like that from the app land. But I use that extensively in apps, and I kind of could see that it seems to be capable of supporting more than that. And this was the experiment to see if it could do that. Yeah, so we have a canvas that's built on top of Firebase's Firestore. And as you edit things, that's persisted in the database. So you can go away and come back later, and everything will still be there. But also anyone logging in and going to that same sandbox, that same world, will see these changes as they're being made. I'll do a quick demo of that. Now I'm running, we're also using Flutter. Flutter is an amazing tool, amazing platform that has lots and lots of UI elements out the box. So the basic principle was, in Flutter, everything's a widget. And what I did was take the everything is a widget principle and put that in a database, and put that in Firestore in a distributed real-time database. So now everything's a widget, everything's persisted, and everything's distributed to all the different users, which is really sort of interesting place to start for a game engine. You can see here it says localhost. That's the Flutter app I'm hosting locally, but the Flutter app itself is connecting to Firestore, the live Firestore that's in Google Cloud. So everything you see here is how it would be if I hosted the Flutter app on a URL. It works exactly the same. It's basically just downloading the app locally rather than downloading the app from a server, but it's actually connecting to Firestore. Yeah, so let's have a play. So I have a little scene here, and like I said, it's a canvas, and you can drag things into the canvas. So we wanted to keep it as minimal as possible. So there's no asset explorer in this UI at the moment. Basically use the file system. Somewhere you have to organize your assets anyway. So we figured, why not just use the file system? So that's what we do, and that means we don't have to, implement any of this. Like Finder is pretty good. Windows Explorer is pretty good at being able to search, and you can organize things in folders, things like that. So we just reuse that, at least for now. Let's see how it goes. So you can just drag things in. This particular file is already in the system and it recognizes that. So it's just prompting me to see whether I want to update it. So I'm just going to use the existing one. And there you go. This is now in the canvas and persisted. So if I go away and come back, it will still be there. This happens to be that's a PNG image, so it's a raster image. These are actually vectors. This is an SVG. This one here, these houses. So, like I said, because we're using Flutter, we support all of these things out of the box, which is really, really nice. And there'll be another video on the different widgets that we support. There's a really, really exciting one that's super powerful, but I'll leave that for another video. Some awesome art from an artist I'm working with, Sam. Just amazing stuff. Super lucky to be able to work with him. Let's have a look. Let's look at this real timeness of the engine. So I'll just grab another instance here that I've prepared earlier, and I'll kind of zoom so that you can see what's going on. Zoom this one back to somewhere. And yeah, as I edit things, let's move this one around. You should see that changing. So imagine this is someone else on another computer. This is going, like I said, the app is hosted here on localhost, my local machine, but the app is connecting to Firestore. So it's as it would be if someone, you know, if someone was somewhere else on the planet, it would work the same. Yeah, and Firebase has an amazing low latency as well. I mean, this is going all the way to Firebase servers and all the way back again, and you can see, like, as I move something and it's on release, that it actually does the update of the database. You can see it's pretty quick, like it's maybe quarter of a second. So that's not too bad. That's pretty good. So yeah, that's the main thing I wanted to kind of demo in this one, and it's a collaborative canvas that many people can look at the same time and edit. I'm going to talk about all the different things that you can do in this canvas in following videos. Yeah, so that's it.